Hello, welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob. I haven't done one of these live streams in a while. Let me know if my audio or video is weird. Oh, and there's some people in the chat already. Let's see. Man, can you help me? I'm trying to remember the title of a C movie. Those don't exist. Probably filmed in the 90s about a redneck village contaminated by a virus. Redneck zombies? Maybe. Oh, there's more details? Maybe. Most amateur actors wearing weird pieces of fabrics on their heads and mouths and nylon on their bodies. Director's only movie, unfortunately. Not sure about that one. Redneck village contaminated by a virus. Whoa. There's a couple of those, aren't there? I'll think about it. I just saw one not too long ago that sounded like it fits that description, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was called. I'll think about it. If anyone in the chat can help us out. Bring on the dancing girls. Unfortunately, VT, I'm alone in my apartment tonight, so no dancing girls, just one drinking Rob. That's it. That's all you get. Bottom shelf bourbon. Yeah. So, I think it's one of the worst movies I ever watched. It sounds pretty bad. Yeah. Could be. Redneck Zombies isn't very good either. That's a Trauma release. I don't think it's not one that Lloyd directed, but yeah, it's pretty bad. A lot of people like it for some reason. Top shelf stuff? No. Bottom shelf bourbon. That's what I drink. Yeah. No top shelf stuff here. I keep it real. Right. So it's been a while. I mean, normally on these live streams, I talk about recent DVD, Blu-ray pickups, but it's been a long time since my last live stream, and that's a huge stack of media that I'm not going to go through. So I curated a little stack of gems that I found over the summer. I've traveled a bit this summer, and every time we went to a new city, my daughter and I would search out a used media store, and my wife was always on the hunt for new vinyl, and then often at the digging through bins in the vinyl shops, they would have also some movies and stuff. So yeah, I found tons of stuff this summer. I'll go through some highlights. Oh, there's all kinds of people here today. Did you see that? Mike, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Been a while, yes. I'm doing well, yes, thank you. Yeah, doing well. Right, so what are some of the gems that I found in boxes at going out of business video stores this summer? Well, probably the weirdest find. Wait, I might have to cover the picture a little bit. All right, here, Alte Liebe, which is German for old love, and then it says, total sex from around the year 1919. What this DVD is a collection of silent shorts from around 1919 of very old nudie films. Interesting, this DVD, it's like tailor-made for me in a sense. It's half in German and half in English, and I speak both of those languages, so I can watch the whole thing and not miss anything. It's kind of interesting, these very old nudie pictures. Some of them are really funny. For silent films, pretty funny. But good find in a box in a place that was going out of business for €1. I got a collection of nudie silent films. Gotta love that. Unfortunately, the quality is not great, but you know, these things are like now over 100 years old. So that's pretty impressive that we have them at all. So I was excited to find that. Unfortunately, this is, where does it say? Oh yeah, so on the spine it says tile 5. So part 2, I could not find part 1 in that moldy, dusty box at the video store, unfortunately. But maybe I'll search eBay for these things. Maybe there's more than just 2 parts even. Yeah, do that, VT. That's yeah, you don't want to see 100-year-old nudie stuff. Hey, Jay's here. What's up, man? Cheers from letting me know about this. I didn't get notified. Yeah, I just announced it today, which is maybe why. I didn't really plan on it. It's just I'm alone in my apartment and thought it could be fun. So that's why. Das ist geil, Mensch. Yes, it is. It's guile in both senses of the word. So for the non-German speakers out there, guile is a word Germans use to mean like great or super, but it also means horny. So it's a little double entendre here. On brand. Yeah, that's very on brand. Yes, very much. How goes it? Going pretty good. Pretty good. Welcome to the show. So what else did I find? So I don't normally upgrade when I have things on DVD because that's normally good enough for me, unless there's a bunch of special features or director's commentaries that I want. But I saw this Blu-ray and did upgrade this one, Shallow Grave. I really love this movie. It's a down and dirty exploitation thriller, low budget 80s thing. It's awesome. And yeah, I couldn't believe that somehow in Germany, they ended up with a Blu-ray version of that, which is totally great. If you haven't seen this, it's awesome. Shallow Grave. I did a review on my channel a while back. Yeah, really great thriller here. It's you would like it, Jay, because to use your phrase from Batham County, this movie is proper harrowing, I believe is what you said. So you might want to watch Shallow Grave. I thought it was the American guy from Street Fighter 2. Oh, the Guile? Yeah, that's true. That's his name, right? Yes. I don't know if it's spelled the same way. It might be. Glad to be here. Yes, welcome. Danny Boyle, Shallow Grave. No, that's right. There is another Shallow Grave. Danny Boyle did one in the 90s. This, before that, this is from the 80s. 1987 this is 87. Danny Boyle, Shallow Grave is, like I saw that in high school, I think. So, or wait, no, maybe it's even after high school. So that's like 96 maybe, Danny Boyle's. So this is like 10 years or so before. The Danny Boyle film is good too. I like that. I haven't seen it since it came out, but I do remember liking it. No, this one is, it's these girls, like college girls, spring break, go, they're driving to Florida or something. They have a flat tire. They like out in backwoods Georgia or something, and they witness a murder, and it turns out that the murderer is the sheriff of the little town they're in. So now they're in a real tight spot with this like crazy murderous sheriff. It's really cool. There's definitely some bad parts, like some poor acting or whatever. I mean, it's a really low budget like thriller, but it's awesome. I love it. On it, yes, good. It's pretty cool. Jay has enough homework. He's not too. That's true. Yeah, Jay's supposed to be watching some vampire films. I've watched a couple. I'm doing my homework, VT. No worries. Of the list you sent around, I think I've made it through, I don't know, maybe 5 or so. 94. Okay, Danny Boyle's Shallow Grave, 94. Okay, so that was when I was in high school. So I guess maybe I watched it on VHS a year or so later in college. Yeah. That's a solid release from Vinegar Syndrome. Really liked it. So this one's not, I knew that Vinegar Syndrome put it out, but that's an American thing, not a European thing. And they don't always have region-free discs, so I don't tend to buy Vinegar Syndrome stuff. This one here, yeah, it might be like the Vinegar Syndrome copy of the movie, but there are no special features on this disc at all. It's just the movie. Yeah, I don't even see who put this out. Yeah, it doesn't even say who put this out. Wait, does it? No, there's no indication of who put this out at all. But sometimes like European companies will put out like just the movie when like some boutique labels in the States put things out. So like a few months back, I got a European Night of the Living Dead Blu-ray, but it has all the Criterion special features, and it's like the, you know, like the remastered version of Night of the Living Dead. So I think they just bought like all the Criterion assets and then put it out, even though it's not a Criterion release here in Europe. Enjoy reviews, man. Please do reviews on Deadly Weapons and Double Agent. Well, also, yeah, I definitely need to do Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixen, sorry. But for Deadly Weapons and Double Agent, I don't like Doris Wishman very much. So that keeps me from doing reviews of those because I don't like Doris Wishman. Yeah, and I think even in the Deadly Weapons, I think even in Deadly Weapons, I don't even think she gets nude in that movie. That might be the one where it's like, you're going to put a woman like that in a movie and not do any nudity? Yeah, that's Doris Wishman. She kind of sucks sometimes with that stuff. Hey there, David. Welcome to the show. What else did I get? My daughter is, thanks to my good influence, getting into punk rock music, and she's a big movie fan. So I picked up a few, you know, classics of punk movies, and so I got this Suburbia Blu-ray, which is pretty nice, from 101. I don't know if that'll show up, but it's got this nice book that comes in it with like essays and stuff, and the book itself has a pretty cool like layout. Looks pretty nice. Yeah, it's a good release. Suburbia, kind of a I talked about it recently when I did like a top 10 punk movies. I don't know where this showed up on my list, but it's a cool film, Suburbia. So yeah, I was happy to find it on Blu-ray. I haven't showed that to my daughter yet, though. We haven't got around to it. What we did get around to was another one that I picked up. Was a 3-disc deluxe edition of The Class of 1984, which you can see this is the German version. But one of the discs has an uncut American version on it, which is why I got it. And then it's got a disc, a bunch of special features. So yeah, that's a cool movie. Have you seen those? They're outrageous. Not sure what the those refers to in that sentence, but yes, I've seen all the movies that I've shown many, many times in certain cases. So if it's one that I showed, then yes. Oh, you're talking about the Deadly Weapons. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen Deadly Weapons. I don't know about Double Agent. But yeah, I have seen at least one of those. But yeah, don't like Doris Wishman. Not very much. What else? So I've tracked down Werewolf in a Women's Prison. Last month we did on Video Tasties channel. We do every month. What do we call that, VT? Smut talk? Is that what we call that? And we talk about some genre of trashy cinema. And last month we did women in prison movies, and I had this on our list of ones to watch. Werewolf in a Women's Prison, but we couldn't find it. I had like a crappy download from back in the day, but yeah, the other two guys, they couldn't find it at all. So apparently pretty hard to find. So then I started looking around to try to get a proper copy of it, because I do like the movie quite a bit, actually. And I learned it's never been released uncut where I live in Germany. It's on our index, which is, Germany doesn't ban movies officially, but certain movies can be put on an index, which means that it's, they basically cannot advertise them, which means, they can't display like the box art at the video store. You can't have ads in magazines. It's even questionable if you can do reviews of them, because maybe the review counts as an ad, which basically all this sort of scares people away from releasing them here at all, which is the case with this movie. It's not available uncut at all. So this comes from Austria, where they don't have such draconian censorship laws. And I'm excited to watch it again. And it even has a director's commentary track on it, which I'm probably will listen to. I'm sure it's funny. But anyway, the movie's insane. Super low budget, super trashy. It's like a softcore porn that turns into an ultra bloody horror film. So just our kind of thing. Smut Talk, right. That's the name of our live stream series on the Video Tasties channel. And then this month, in the spirit of Halloween, we're doing trashy vampire films, and which is the homework that Jay and I are supposed to be doing, is watching as many trashy vampire movies as we can find. So far I've gotten through about 5. Love your videos. Thank you. Are there exploitation movies from the last 5 years you recommend? Oh, I'm not the right person to answer that, because I don't watch too many new movies. Yeah, almost none, actually. Although I will say, I think that's within the last 5 years. There was a French film called Revenge, which is a rape revenge movie, which I thought was quite good. So that one, I recommend that one, the French film Revenge. But generally with like movies, new movies, I wait until they get, until people talk about them. And then I'm like, okay, people are talking about them, I'll check them out. Because, a lot of these movies are pretty terrible. But, at least the ones in the 70s or from the 60s that are still around, they're still around because there's enough people that care about them, which makes me think that there's something in them worth watching. I mean, like the guys from like Something Weird Video, they made like a whole company basically dedicated to try to find these old movies and release them on DVD. So yeah, that that makes me more interested in the old stuff because they have survived. With newer stuff, if they survive for a while and people talk, I'll track them down. But a lot of them, I ignore. So I'm not the best person for new stuff. I've not started my homework yet. You got time. It's only like, what is it, the 4th of October? You got time. How are you doing today? Doing okay. I traveled today, took a little trip to a neighboring city called Essen, Germany, and there visited their used DVD store, which is the sister store of the place I normally go to here in Dortmund, Germany. So that was fun to check out, the same store in a different city with like a whole bunch of different stuff. And I bought like eight movies today. But they got super great price at this place. So I got like 8 movies today. I think I spent 30 euros. So yeah, that's not too bad. Speaking of trashy, ever cover any? I haven't covered any Ed Wood films. Yeah, maybe I should at some point. Maybe Glenn or Glenda. That's maybe the one that fits best with my channel. I would cover Plan 9 if Vampira like got naked or something, but she doesn't. But yeah, so maybe Glenn or Glenda would fit well with my channel. And then he did, like, in the later part of his career, even more trashy stuff. I haven't seen a whole lot of it, just some. Do you know of Mary Millington? Nope, I do not. Mary Millington, nope. Tell Jay to watch the Jess Franco films. I don't think I should tell anybody to watch Jess Franco films. They're almost all terrible. I do like a few of them, but yeah, they're pretty bad. I worked with Something Weird Video in the 90s. Oh, cool. And still maintain a relationship with them. Yeah, they really are. I love what they do. I mean, they have discovered movies that would have just, disappeared to history and put them out. And they've preserved stuff digitally that definitely would have disappeared without them. Yeah, they're amazing. My dream, I was just telling my wife this the other day, my dream, because Something Weird Video, they don't ship DVDs to Europe anymore. So for their movies, you have to buy them like digitally, which is too bad. But they used to send stuff to Europe. So my dream is one day, one of these old guys who had a huge Something Weird Video collection will die, and his kids will have no idea what any of that stuff is. And they'll take it to the used DVD place that I go to. And I'll walk in one day and there'll be like 30 Something Weird Video DVDs for like €3 a piece, and I'll just buy them all. That's my dream. That will probably never happen. But yeah, I love Something Weird. I love checking out their stuff. Even if it's bad, it's like, at least it's interesting in many cases. I cover a lot of Something Weird stuff on my channel, like a lot. The city was called Essen. Isn't that the word for food in German? Yes, and yes. The city is called Essen, which is also the word for food in German. Yes. Yeah. I live in what's called the Ruhrgebiet, which is an area of Germany where there are a bunch of big cities all next to each other. So like the city I'm in is called Dortmund, with a population of like 600,000. But then I hop on the train and I go one stop. So like, 8 minutes on the train, and I'm in Bochum, which is another city with a population of like 500,000. And then like, another 10 minutes from there, I'm in Essen, which is a city of like 600,000 people. So it's like all these like pretty big cities, like all right next to each other. So total, like the whole population of this area is like 10 million people or something. So it's like one of the biggest metropolitan areas in Europe, which can be nice for finding like movies at like the DVD stores, because a lot of people around here. It's a word for a former Ghanaian footballer. Oh, okay. Oh no, misread. Okay. I wouldn't know either way because I don't know anything about football. I think Orchard there was written by Ed Wood, kind of up your alley. It was written by Ed Wood. It's not up my alley though because it's awful. I think that's the one. That's the one where like a couple is in a car accident and then they're like tied up in a graveyard, and then all of these like monsters who are actually strippers just do like a striptease dance around this couple tied up. I think that's Orgy of the Dead. Terrible, terrible movie. The only thing of note is one of the dancers in it is played by Pat Barrington, who I really like a lot. She's a great dancer, amazing figure. She was in a bunch of exploitation films in the 60s. She's awesome. The movie, though, is garbage, which it really surprised me that like someone paid money for an Ed Wood script. Like, what the hell? Like, who would pay money for anything that Ed Wood wrote? It's amazing. Have you seen Tarzan, Shame of the Jungle? It's weird fun. No, I haven't. That does sound pretty cool, though. My worst Jess Franco until now is The Lustful Amazon. I just bought a Jess Franco Amazon film the other day, hoping it would be good, but it wasn't The Lustful Amazon. It was, what was it? Something gold. The Golden Amazons, or I don't know. Let me look on my shelf. The Golden Temple of the Amazons. Terrible. Terrible though. Although the women in it are gorgeous, but yeah, especially the lead woman. But the movie is it's so bad. The dubbing is super bad. The Golden Temple is like they just spray painted some rocks like gold. It's ridiculous. And then there's all these like insert shots of like wild animals that were obviously taken in like a zoo in Spain or something. So it's supposed to be in the Brazil or whatever, but there's like zebras and stuff. Like, what the hell? It's bad, so bad. Cool area there. I got to visit there 23 years ago. Eschweiler, I think. Loved Bitburger. Yeah. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. Right. I like the Bitburger beer too. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yep, that's the one. Okay. Oh, the Origin of the Dead. Okay, good. Yeah. Sorry to go off topic. I just thought that was kind of funny. That's okay. Funny is always on topic. I think the last Franco I watched was Devil's Honey. Tapped out after that one. Yeah. He's done two films that I like, that I've seen. He made like 200 movies or something. I've seen, I don't know, maybe 20. But I do like The Awful Dr. Orloff. That's like a serious movie. And I'm pretty sure that it is the very first Spanish horror film, which is pretty cool. But it's good. It's really good. Well made. It's from like 1961 or 62 or something like that. Black and white. Looks gorgeous. Yeah, it's cool. I like that one a lot. And I like his Ilsa movie the Ilsa, the Wicked Warden. That was released under a bunch of different titles, but that's a good women in prison movie with Diane Thorne, Ilsa, and Lena Romay. Amazon Women on the Moon would be a fun movie. Another Doris Wishman film, I believe. She got in trouble for that one. She showed too much nudity in that one. Yeah. Wow, worst IMDb. Okay. Oh, the Golden Temple, the Amazons. Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah, it's really bad. One of my all-time favorites. I'm not sure what that is referring to. How about a Roger Corman retrospective, especially since a lot. Yeah, Corman is awesome. I've done some Corman stuff on the channel, and for some reason it didn't really do well. I did Death Race 2000 a while back. I don't think anyone watched that video. Did Humanoids from the Deep. That was a while ago, though. So yeah, maybe it's time to do some more Corman. I've been thinking about doing A Bucket of Blood. That's a cool Corman picture with Dick Miller in the leading role, which is nice. But yeah, if you have a suggestion for a Corman film, just don't say Forbidden Planet, though, because that movie sucks. Something cool. Can't decide which I prefer, Ray in the video store or Titan condoms. I don't know what any of that is. Are you guys talking about Clerks? Somehow I might have missed where that conversation started. Bloody Moon by Franco was bad but entertaining. Venus in Furs. Oh, okay. I don't know those. I remember Humanoids Are Deep. That was a fun video. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, those old videos, I constantly think about deleting them and maybe redoing them. Yeah, because when I still have like the very first review I ever did was for Russ Meyer's The Immoral Mr. T's, which is still up on the channel. But yeah, like they're so bad. Like my first videos were so bad. I was so uncomfortable on camera and just sounded totally bored. Even though I wasn't, I was just nervous, I guess. But yeah, they're awful, like just awful. I should delete them and do them again. Or leave them up so we can see improvement, but I don't know. Amazon Women wasn't a Wishman movie. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Right. What else? Since there's a lull in the chat, what else did I get? Oh, this was such a lucky find. At one of those record stores where my wife was digging through looking for vinyl, I found this. Roy Orbison, Black and White Night. I love music, as you've probably gathered from watching some of my videos, and I love Roy Orbison, and this is such a great concert. Yeah, it's called Black and White Night because it's filmed in black and white, but he plays all the hits, and he's got a great collection in his backing band in this. Elvis Costello, Bruce Springsteen, Katie Lang, Tom Waits is there. Amazing stuff. If you like Roy Orbison, you can watch a lot of these videos on YouTube from the Black and White Night. Really awesome. And I found this for like a euro, which I was just like shocked that this place had Roy Orbison Concert Dvd. So super excited about that. Love Roy Orbison. He was actually the first famous person to die that like affected me, like where I was sad about it. Like when I was a kid, I was like, oh no, what, really? Like these musicians like can die? Like that sucks. So yeah, Roy Orbison, super awesome. That's a great concert. And new comic. Saw many of the movies you review at the drive-in mid-70s. Oh, cool. It was a golden era. Absolutely. Did you attend the drive-in much? Yeah. But not in the 70s because I was a baby. I attended the drive-in in the 80s and 90s. So like the tail end of the drive-in. So when I grew up in Michigan, and we had a drive-in theater. What was it called? The Getty Drive-In, that ran like all the way through high school. I think it continued to run after that, but then I moved away to college. But yeah, we used to go to the drive-in pretty often in the 90s. And younger in the 80s, my dad would take us sometimes, like if he had like a date or something, because my parents were divorced. So sometimes he would take his date to the drive-in, and then my brother and I would, have to tag along, of course. So yeah, saw him. Yeah, a lot of movies at the drive-in. Yeah, and I remember it was such a great upgrade when we started to go to this other drive-in where, okay, so when I was a little kid at the drive-in, they gave you these really shitty speakers that you would like put inside your car, like kind of pinch it in the window. I guess in the early 90s or so, the drive-in upgraded where you could tune your car radio to the drive-in's station and then listen to the movie over your own car speakers. And my dad had a pretty good, like music system in his car because he's a big music geek. So that was like great because then, you had like pretty decent stereo sound at the drive-in. Yeah. And those days are over. Are you a Joe Bob Briggs fan? Yeah, sure. Love Joe Bob. Don't watch him anymore because I live in Europe and he is on Shudder, I believe, which does not exist in Europe. But back in the day, spent a lot of time watching Joe Bob on his various shows that he had on cable TV through the years. I don't even remember what they're called. At the Drive-In. He had a couple of different shows. Monster Vision? Did he do Monster Vision? But yeah, I used to watch him. Growing up, it was really like three people that got me into movies on TV. Joe Bob was one. Gilbert Godfrey, USA Up All Night. Spent a lot of time watching those. And Roger Ebert. I liked the Siskel and Ebert show, and I liked reading Roger Ebert's reviews. So those are my three favorite like film critic people back when I was a kid. Lucky enough to have a drive-in just an hour away. Oh, cool. I actually like the drive-in more than the theater. Right on. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a car, so I couldn't go to the drive-in today, even if they existed in Germany, which they don't. Not that I know of, anyway. But yeah, I don't have a car. So unless they show movies on the train, that ain't happening. Went to a few drive-ins a few times. They had one in my area. Yeah, yeah. A lot of them closed down. Yeah, they went. There's a Wikipedia page about drive-ins in America. I don't remember the numbers, but yeah, something like they went from like 50,000 drive-in theaters down to like 300 over the course of like 20 years or something. So it's like just crashed. Oh, cool. Nice. Drive-in theaters thriving again in the Northeast. That's awesome. We still do the drive-in here in Texas. Oh, nice. Same atmosphere as it was back when. Cool. Do they still show like exploitation films? Or is it just normal Hollywood stuff? I mean, because in the old days, like in the 50s and 60s, like the drive-in circuit would pick up like all kinds of stuff, not just studio pictures, So other things as we go. Oh, this movie is not super great, but I do like it. One Night at McCool's. I was surprised to see this in the bin, so I picked it up. I liked it when it came out. It came out. It must have been after Pulp Fiction, and then Pulp Fiction just really kind of inspired people to play with chronology and points of view and stuff. And this is one of those movies where it's sort of told in this sort of mixed up kind of Pulp Fiction-y way. But I like it. It's funny. Liv Tyler, Matt Dillon, John Goodman, Paul Reiser, Michael Douglas. Great cast. Pretty entertaining. Definitely worth a watch if you've never seen it. One Night at McCool's. I saw it in the theater when it came out. Yeah, liked it then. So I spent €1 on it a few weeks ago and liked it when I watched it here at home. Yeah, it's not too bad. My perhaps most surprising find of the past few weeks is this Isaac Hayes' Chicago Poker. Don't know why they called it that here in Germany. This is Truck Turner. It's a blaxploitation film. Very rare to find blaxploitation films in Germany. So I was quite surprised they had this. So I had to get it. It's pretty good. I hadn't seen it before. So that was doubly awesome. A blaxploitation film I hadn't seen. Sadly, lacking any Yes, it is lacking that. She does have some really nice outfits, though, in the movie. In Pennsylvania still. Oh, cool. Last weekend, they hosted John Waters. Oh, nice. And John Waters was there. Oh, even better. I really should do some John Waters movies on the channel. I don't think I've done any yet. Yeah, I should fix that. Yeah, definitely. Which one should I do? Pink Flamingos, the classic. Pecker with Edward Furlong. VCR's Killer Drive-In. Yeah. Now they play current films and some retro classics. Oh, no exploitation though. Yeah. Well, even retro films is cool, though. It's nice to watch old movies in the theater again. I wish more theaters did that, or they played play older movies or whatever. That would be fun. I mean, it happens sometimes with like some big cult classics. You can catch screenings of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think that's been playing in movie theaters somewhere since it was released back in the 70s. Well, there's a theater in Essen where I was today. Every Sunday they play Harold and Maude, which is pretty cool. So one day I'll go down there and watch Harold and Maude in the theater. I haven't done it yet, though. Do you have a favorite blaxploitation movie? Coffee. I mean, probably my favorite Pam Grier film. I go back and forth between Coffee and The Spook Who Sat by the Door. I really love The Spook Who Sat by the Door a lot. But Coffee is just so awesome. I mean, that's, when people like come over and they're like, hey, let's watch one of these blaxploitation films that you talk about. Like, okay, well, let's watch Coffee, because even if you've never seen a blaxploitation film before, you can get into Coffee because it's just so great. But yeah, Spook, Coffee, definitely top two. After that, I like MMA. It's a drama quite a lot. That's a good family drama blaxploitation film. That one's really cool. And I like Rudy Ray Moore. So maybe like The Human Tornado would be near the top of my list. I like Fred Williamson a lot too. So maybe one of his westerns. I better get me some Cha-Cha Heels. Gotta have those. A lot of the streaming services have a strong drive and feel. Some of them have very high. Yeah, some of them do. I like, so there's tons of streaming services that Americans are lucky enough to have access to that us poor Europeans are not lucky enough to have access to. But even here in Europe, we can watch Plex. And I watch movies on there pretty often. Plex is cool. And they have a ton of like drive-in style stuff on there. Like tons of Roger Corman films are on Plex. So I recommend that one. Even if you're unlucky enough to be in Europe, you can watch Plex. I've seen a few classics released in theaters. The Thing, The Shining, Goodfellas. Oh, nice. Just to name a few. Coffee is my favorite too. Yeah, good favorite. Yeah, I've seen like some really old classics in the theater, like some Charlie Chaplin stuff. My wife and I went a few years ago, saw Modern Times, and they had like a live orchestra do the score for it. That was really cool. I've seen some old like Bogart films in the theaters, like Africa Queen, stuff like that. Yeah, but not nearly enough. I wish it was more often. Black Belt Jones and Guy from Harlem are Guy from Harlem. That's like the Ed Wood blaxploitation film there. Yeah, I just learned about that one relatively recently. A few months ago, I interviewed Josiah Howard on the channel. He wrote the book Blaxploitation Cinema, an essential reference guide, which is used in like university courses on like black cinema, like across the country and stuff. He's a really cool guy, and he told me about Guy from Harlem, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I've done some like blaxploitation lists. I did one with Rashad G a few months ago on like our favorite hidden gems of blaxploitation. So if you want to find some hidden gems, that's a good video to watch. I think we each give 5 like hidden gems. Final pickup over the summer of note is I got this little Ray Harryhausen set of his sci-fi movies. It came from Beneath the Sea. It's pretty bad. You can skip it. Earth versus Flying Saucers, pretty bad. Maybe even worse. You can skip that. But this film is awesome. 20 Million Miles to Earth. Loved it. Really great. I'd seen it before. I'd seen all of them before. I like Ray Harryhausen a lot. But this set here, this 50th anniversary edition, kind of a fun feature is if you press the angle button on your DVD remote, you can switch it to color. And they did a pretty good job on the colorization of these old black and white sci-fi movies. So it's kind of fun to see like how they colored the monsters and such. And normally I think, at least in the old days, like when they started to do this, like to colorize movies, they all look terrible. And I expected the same thing here, but no, they actually look like pretty good. So if you hate black and white for some stupid reason, you can watch these old movies in color and it looks okay. But you shouldn't hate black and white movies because there are so many great black and white movies. Is Slaughter considered blaxploitation? Yes, a Jim Brown film, definitely blaxploitation. Came out at the during the blaxploitation time. That was a relatively early one too. I think I was like 73 or something. Since the only African American in it is Jim Brown. Oh yeah, okay, right. It's from the same time. Oh, I should have read your comment before telling you what you already know. In reality, it's just a vehicle of sex violence. Yeah, so basically, if it's a black film from, like 71 to 76 or so, it'll count as a blaxploitation film. Now, there are some that came later, so maybe like 79, you want to draw the line. But yeah, that's the period of blaxploitation, these films. So like a lot of it makes it blaxploitation. The exploitation part is it's targeting the Black audiences. That's why they're exploitation films, because they were targeting urban Black audiences and showing them or showing the audience lots of urban settings. So it's movies made for that audience, about that audience's home. That's kind of what makes them, and they're low budget. It's another important feature of exploitation films. Yeah, kind of what happened was the studio system was in big trouble financially coming out of the 60s. They made some pretty big budget movies that didn't do well at the theater. They were in dire straits. I think like even MGM was like auctioning off like props, trying to stay alive, like, Dorothy's ruby red slippers and stuff like that. And then in 1970, there are two movies that did pretty well. Cotton Comes to Harlem. It takes place in Harlem with a mostly Black or all Black cast, maybe even all Black cast. Did very well. Great movie too, by the way. In the same year, Watermelon Man, a comedy, came out. Also did pretty well. And then these, also a low budget, kind of thing. And then both these movies like did really well. And then the studio people are like, oh, wait, Black people like to watch movies? Well, shit, why have we been ignoring all this money? So they made, films targeting the Black audience for low budget, which they didn't have much of a budget to work with because the studios were in trouble. And yeah, they're hugely successful. So Shaft was like, and Sweet Sweetback's Baddest Song were like the first two like official blaxploitation films. They both did millions at the box office, and then that, just that set the trend going of making low budget action films, mostly action films targeted at the urban audiences. And then Jaws came in 75 and was like the first blockbuster film. And then Star Wars was like 77. And then, when you get these big blockbusters, Hollywood was doing okay anymore, and they didn't need Black folks anymore. So they just like stopped making those movies like completely. And then like none of those people could like get work again. It's like really messed up how they were treated. So yeah, like 70 to like 79, and then that was it. It was ended by Jaws and Star Wars, basically. Who would you say is the worst movie director ever? I don't know. There's so many. My vote would be Al Adamson. Yeah, definitely, I could see that. Or Coleman Francis. Him, I don't know. My MST3K fan badge is showing with those answers. Yeah, there's like a huge box set collection of like Al Adamson stuff that looks like pretty cool. I don't remember who put it out. Maybe it was Vinegar Syndrome. It looks really nice. But I think it goes for like 500 euros on eBay these days, which is a lot to spend on terrible movies. So I will not be doing that. But yeah, worst director, I don't know. I mean, there's so many that are just awful. I mean, Franco, we make fun of a lot. I mean, he's made just some garbage movies. But there's got to be worse. But Franco also did some good stuff too. So you have to find a director that just never made anything good. But yeah, maybe Al Adamson maybe would be a good one. I don't know who I would pick. Got it. It targets a Black audience. Yes. It doesn't really need to have a lot of Black people in it. It needs to have some. the lead should be. It's got to be sexy too, because yeah, that was an important component. Is like the yeah, I mean, like in the old days, I mean, yeah, like you didn't really see, like in mainstream Hollywood movies, you didn't really see like black people kissing, like that just didn't you just didn't see that. Like Sidney Poitier, I don't think he ever had like an on-screen kiss, did he? So yeah, like black sexuality also an important component. The whole like black is beautiful thing plays into this as well. There was a white cop in Cotton Comes to Harlem, yes. Paper Bag said to trick him, right? Yeah, yeah, I like him. He's got a funny scene where he's like guarding the one woman, and she like takes off all her clothes, and then she gets in the shower. It's pretty good. Are your DVDs in the PAL format or in a certain region? Yeah, these are all. Well, some of them are region free. Like a lot of like indie stuff, they release region free. But yeah, generally, yeah, PAL, DVD region 2, and then for Blu-rays, Europe is B, I think. Let me see. Yeah, Europe is region B on Blu-rays, region, I believe, 2 for DVDs, I think. Oh yeah, so like Werewolf in a Women's Prison is planning our focus, but that's all. It's region free. Class of 84. It doesn't even say what the region is, but yeah, 2, I think. Godfrey Ho is bad. What did he do? That name sounds familiar. But yeah, I can't place a movie title. But yeah, like back in like, going back to like the Something Weird video stuff. I mean, some of the stuff in their catalog is really awful. So maybe one of those directors, maybe, just made some garbage stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. Yeah. Plus, I mean, with a lot of, the way I look at movies, it's all a sliding scale, I mean, because, I mean, if there's another reason I'm not like a super big fan of like a lot of big budget Hollywood stuff, is because at that kind of budget level, they don't have any excuses. I mean, if you've got 100 million or, anything in the millions, if you got that much money, there's no excuses because you can afford great actors, you can afford a good editor, you can afford good music and good cameras and good lights and, people to make like posters. And, at that point, there's no excuses. If your movie isn't awesome, it's because you suck. Like, so why, I don't cut them any breaks if you got that kind of cash to make a movie. But a lot of these like indie people, they're putting stuff together for like no money. And if you got like no money, of course we have to forgive, not having great lighting or not having great actors or, not having, super sharp focus all the time because they didn't have, enough money for the film to do a second take or whatever. So, you got to look past all that stuff. And if they can still make entertaining movies, then, big thumbs up because that's awesome. So, something like Father's Day from Astron 6, I think is super impressive because that movie looks amazing and it's hilarious and it's got great special effects and it's, yeah, it's just entertaining like the whole way through. And those guys made that thing for $10,000. Like, unbelievable the amount of talent you have to do something like that. I mean, they made a movie better than a lot of Hollywood stuff that's got 100 times their budget, So yeah, big respect for indie filmmakers that can do interesting stuff with no money. Very little respect for Hollywood filmmakers who have all the money in the world and churn out shit. That's how I look at the film the landscape of cinema. That's how I see it. Right, but I went through my weird pile of things I discovered in DVD boxes this summer. Any final questions or comments? I've been going about an hour. I think could be time to wrap things up. So let's see. At least 15 films a year. Oh, okay. Oh, what is his name? I have a pick for worst director, but now I have to think of his name. A newer director. Oh man, I'd have to look it up. But I've seen a couple of movies and they're just garbage. Bolina, something like this. I don't know. I have to look through my letterboxd and find it. Are you working in film or entertainment industry? No, I am well, what do you think I do? That'd be an interesting question. No, nothing in film. Unfortunately, I would love to. I did sell a screenplay last year, and that might be made into a movie. We'll see. So then, then I can say yes, but no. As of right now, no. Although I did sell a screenplay, so that's something. But no, I teach English at a university in Essen, actually. The University of Duisburg-Essen. I teach English courses there. A chef. No, not a chef. Nope. An English teacher. Teacher? Is that my title? I don't know. Docent? That's my title. A lecturer. I'm an English lecturer at the University of Duisburg-Essen. That's my official job title. Which sounds maybe more impressive than it is because it's not impressive at all. Right, then I am going to sign off. Thank you so much for coming. This is probably the best turnout I've had on one of these things. That's awesome. Maybe I should do them more often. We will see. All right. Thanks for turning out. I will say goodbye.